Hello, Mom. Sorry if my mom is making obnoxious sounds that I won't be able to edit out. I'm out in my office waiting for her, getting ready, like getting everything set up to record. She walks out here. I go, what the fuck? Why do you have a fucking lollipop in your hand? A grape Tootsie Pop.
Because it's my favorite.
See, I like the grape and I like the cherry?
And the orange.
I don't love the orange one.
And the raspberry.
I don't know. I like the red ones, whatever the red one is.
There's cherry and there's raspberry.
Well, I like the burgundy red. Is that raspberry?
Yep.
Okay, the raspberry is my favorite then.
Because the red is cherry.
But I guess I just like them. I guess just the orange is maybe not my favorite one. The orange and the double chocolate, not my favorites.
Right. The double chocolate's not my favorite, which is kind of surprising. Or kind of surprising because I love chocolate. But I like the grape. And I'm not a big orange flavored fan, but I like the orange. And I think I'm becoming an orange flavored fan.
Because your Metamucil gummies you have to eat every day.
I was just going to say, because my Metamucil gummies are orange flavor and they're really good. And I'm like, God, I could eat a whole bunch of these.
Sponsor us, Metamucil. Everyone deserves to have a nice stool.
It's fiber. It's filling. It keeps me skinny. Which I'm not skinny, but anyway.
Keeps you full.
Keeps me full. And they're really yummy. And I want to eat more than 3 of them, but I feel like that might not be a good idea.
All right, Mama.
So yeah, Tootsie Pop.
What's your disturbing fact?
Oh, fuck.
What you got?
I'm ready.
Is it about bromelain again?
No.
Bromelain? Bromelain?
Sure. But you probably know this too because Miss Smarty Pants over here. Do you know what spice can also be used as a drug?
Cocaine.
No, cocaine's not a spice.
Coca?
Nutmeg.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay, tell me more.
Nutmeg can cause a high similar to hallucinogenic drugs. And
so next time I'm thinking about doing shrooms, I should just do nutmeg?
Yeah, do like a tablespoon of nutmeg. And it's actually called nutmeg intoxication. So like you have too much nutmeg and it causes you to
start hallucinations.
To hallucinate, yeah.
So what do people attribute this like?
Well, people
attribute the Gaelisms, ha ha ha.
People obviously use nutmeg in cooking, right? But if you ever notice in your nutmeg ratio, it's always like hardly any nutmeg.
Yeah, there's it's like an accent to cinnamon.
It's like a skosh of nutmeg.
Yeah, it's like just basically to fucking, I feel like, make cinnamon more flavorful.
Yes, it's exactly like that. What leads
enhance that's what the word was like for. Enhance the cinnamon.
Make cinnamon more cinnamony.
Yes, exactly. Like I use salt to enhance flavors.
Yeah.
Use nutmeg to enhance cinnamon.
Yes. So what leads to a nutmeg high, I'm going to butcher these words, I'm sure, is
I can't wait.
The myristrictin. Myristrictin. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. Good job. And it's a chemical compound in nutmeg that causes the nutmeg intoxication. And it also occurs naturally in other certain plants and essential oils like parsley and dill. So I guess if you use a lot of dill, you could get real fucked up on that too.
Oh, I love dill.
I know, you better settle down on the dill.
Oh, I plucked dill last night for our salad to make salad dressing with. Oh, that's good dill. That's like
good.
It's like Kate's dill. That was good dill.
And I'm sorry, I don't even know where I found it at.
It's interesting.
It's interesting, right? I'm running out of disturbing things. I think
our disturbing things are like not always disturbing, but they're facts, and so it's fine.
I think it might be disturbing if you take nutmeg to get high.
Yeah, I guess, but it's probably a lot less conspicuous than like going to your corner mushroom dealer or going to go get some LSD, some acid tabs.
Right. So instead you just have some nutmeg in the myristrictin. The body metabolizes it into basically MDMA or MMDA.
MDA. I think it's MDA.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway.
MDMA. That's what
MDMA.
it's MDMA.
Yeah. MDMA. And the body basically turns it into that. It's a different compound. It's methylene dioxyamphetamine is what it turns into. And that's what has the hallucinogenic properties. But obviously you got to have a lot of it. And it affects the central nervous system. And so that's what does it.
Okay, interesting.
Yep. So a study looked at cases of nutmeg poisoning because technically it's poisoning. That's how
It's poison?
well, that's mushrooms too. Mushrooms, it's poison. That's why you hallucinate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, there was a 10-year period and they looked at 32 documented cases of nutmeg poisoning, and they found the most common symptoms were hallucinations, drowsiness, dizziness, dry mouth, confusion, and also in 2 of those 32 cases, there were seizures.
Damn.
So, and it wasn't all that much because it says a 37-year-old female who consumed 2 teaspoons of nutmeg had to go to the emergency room and she was confused and tripping balls. Basically, is what it says.
I want to. No, I shouldn't. I want to try this.
Should.
I was going to say to you that I don't know if you should tell all 3 of our listeners about this. Because what if they schedule this as a scheduled drug?
Well, can I tell you that there are risks and dangers also to too much nutmeg?
Too much nutmeg.
Nutmeg. And it's because it's toxic, which is why you hallucinate. But it can cause seizures, as I said, and it can also cause organ damage. So I would not recommend using nutmeg to trip.
What would you recommend then?
I wouldn't recommend it.
But if you had to trip, what would you recommend?
I wouldn't recommend anything.
Mom,
I don't have
you're
to.
no fun.
Sorry. I'm giving you a little PSA here. Public service announcement.
Public service announcement.
A public service announcement to help you not consume overdosing quantities of nutmeg.
That's interesting.
It is interesting. And in some cases, if it was mixed with other harmful drugs, so I don't know, say nutmeg and cocaine, I guess, that it's been fatal.
Oh.
Yeah. So no overdosing on the nutmeg.
Okay, so if you see me at the grocery store buying a couple jars of nutmeg, mind your own fucking business.
All you need
I'm
is
just
2
using
teaspoons.
it to enhance my cinnamon. Well, that's interesting.
It is interesting. I found a different one that I was going to use, but I don't know if I liked it. But I might use it next time. But it's real disturbing.
Well, you should use it.
I should.
You go, I don't know if this is disturbing.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Well, I think that that's okay. I think that, I don't know. I feel like our disturbing facts have kind of taken off a little bit in some, like, maybe interesting directions, or, like, disturbing in the fact that, like, you can overdo, I guess, nutmeg and trip on it, which you would have thought about that. I wouldn't have thought about that. Like, I think about the fact that I overdo butter, and I'm like, oh, fuck my cholesterol. But that's not making me trip balls. Because I'm like, oh, why can't I run faster?
Well, Daphne was keto before it was keto.
Yeah, no shit. I love butter.
Yeah, she does.
I'm kind of a junkie.
I was trying to combine the word butter and junkie, but I can't get it.
Bunky.
She's a bunkie.
I'm a bunny.
Okay, I think we should stop.
Okay.
I've had too much nutmeg, clearly.
Clearly. Enhancing your cinnamon.
Or my great Tootsie Pop.
You know what's actually funny? Sometimes if I have like a cinnamon kind of coffee, I'll sprinkle some nutmeg on it too.
Ooh. Living on the edge.
I do love nutmeg, though.
I love nutmeg, too, and I always wondered how come, like, the ratio is so low. Because it seems like when you make a pumpkin pie or a sweet potato pie or
right.
anything
you're using, like, 1 to, like, 6 parts of something else.
Yeah, exactly. I'm always like, how come you don't put more nutmeg? And I think sometimes I do put more nutmeg just because I like it. But now I know not to do it because I don't want to trip. And also, I don't want to cause organ damage.
I don't think that that's why people have it as a lower ratio. It's probably just been that, like, somebody knew it one day and then wrote a cookbook, and then everybody else is probably just modeled off of, like, that you use more cinnamon to nutmeg, or you use more X to nutmeg, you know, whatever it is.
Right.
That it's always just been.
Clove to nutmeg.
Yeah, that whatever the ratio is, it's always lower on the nutmeg.
Right. But it probably goes back to the fact that
somebody did learn about it.
That somebody knew it was toxic.
Yeah, but probably not everybody knew that.
Probably nobody knew that because we didn't know it.
I didn't know it.
Nope.
I didn't know it was a toxic trippy.
That's why I presented it as my disturbing fact, because I was like, wow, that's freaking weird.
Yeah, that is weird, but I like it. Thank you.
Cool. You're welcome. Wait till you get my next one. I'm going to do it. I don't like it, though, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
Does it have to do with pee?
No.
Okay. We're cool then. I'm like, I think you might have outdone the pee for a little while.
More pee facts.
Less pee facts. Less P facts, please.
Nope, not P.
Okay, that's good.
All right.
That's good. All right.
What you got, Daph?
So I want to preface this, how I was talking about how I wanted to do the Playboy case that I was talking about before, that I was watching the Playboy show again and all that.
Uh-huh.
Well, this was not on purpose that I stumbled upon what we're doing today.
Uh-huh.
But it is another, like, she modeled for Playboy for, like, a hot minute, this chick. But it was not the intent, so I apologize that the next, like, this one and the following one I have are going to be about Playboy. That was not intentional. What had happened was Mom and I were watching Wheel of Fortune. And then I was like, oh, I learned the other day that somebody on not Wheel of Fortune, a game show host, married like one of the models on the shows. And then I was trying to figure out who it was. And then I discovered that Drew Carey of The Price is Right, that his ex-fiance was murdered. And I was like, I need to know more. Tell me more. So here we are.
Tell me more.
The case of Dr. Amie Nicole Harwick.
Ooh, she was a doctor?
She was a doctor.
Nice.
She was born May 20th, 1981. She grew up in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, which also unintentionally, I feel like we've been in Pennsylvania a lot recently.
We have.
But yeah, that's, again, not on purpose. So.
Well, you can only go so many places.
Yeah, that's true. Like the whole world, but whatever. There's like the whole world to see. But
maybe I need to do another United States of WTF.
In Pennsylvania?
No.
Wait, no, because you had the Philadelphia one.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, then I can take us all around the country.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
It out.
I think you should. I enjoyed that a lot. And it was like a good, how we talk about the palate cleansers from true crime, talking about weird shit or scary shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
So you should do more.
With the slip and slide.
So she has a younger brother, and her younger brother's Chris, and her parents are Tom and Penny. Her parents adopted her when she was 11 months old.
Hmm.
And they said that she had honey-colored hair and tiny little curls, and like getting her was like a fairy tale, like the first time they ever saw her.
It sounds like it.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah, honey-colored hair with tiny little curls.
Yeah.
Does sound like a fairy tale.
And then they said that her hair color had darkened by the time she was 4. And around that time, her parents had adopted her younger brother, Chris. Adopted her younger brother, Chris. So I shouldn't have any problems with, like, pronouncing words today. Or, like, names of places. But it's just going to be the typical Daphne can't speak thing happening. So adopted the younger brother, Chris, right? And then she was like, I guess she had the first few weeks with him were fun. And then she like asked her mom, when is he leaving? And she's like, LOL, sweetie, this is your brother. He's not leaving. He lives here now. He's going to be with us forever. Right. That's basically, what she did. She's like, okay, this is cool, but now it's not.
Right.
I tried to find out stuff about her young life. I couldn't find like anything. So the next chunk of information I have is when she graduated from high school in 1999. She graduated from North Penn High School. And then she started dating a guy. So she was into like metal and like rock shows and would always go to concerts and like get backstage passes and like meet people. So she met her boyfriend at the time, Tommy Decker. He was a drummer that was based out of LA at a concert back home in Pennsylvania. And then the two started dating and had a long-distance relationship until 2001 when she decided to move to LA and be closer to Tommy. And her mom also said it was, like, to find herself and that she, like, really needed it to move.
Mm-hmm.
So then she and Tommy got married, and then she got divorced after 3 years.
So she was super young.
She was super young. Mm-hmm. And they were married for 3 years, and then they got divorced.
Uh-huh.
But she started dating him, I think, in 1999 when she had graduated, and then they did the long-distance thing until she moved out there in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
So she pursued her undergrad and got her Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology at California Polytechnic State University in Pomona.
Mm-hmm.
And then came to LA. She was hustling like crazy to put herself through school and like being married and everything, you know, like affording life.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of her things she did was she had a fire act and she would perform at places like the Playboy Mansion, and she did like a little bit of modeling for Playboy.
What's a fire act?
Like exactly how it sounds. Like you know, people with like
fire,
sticks of fire. Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah, that's what she did. Like had an act where she was fire. Where she was the fire.
Set like a ring on fire and went through it like a hoopah ring. A hoopah ring.
A hoopah ring. So the timeline on everything is a little bit unclear, but I'm going to talk about like her credentials real quick and then we'll move along still with her life.
Besides Fire Girl?
Besides Fire Girl. So she had earned her Master of Arts degree in clinical psychology from Pepperdine University. And then she went on to receive her doctorate of human sexuality from the Institute for Advanced Study of Human Sexuality.
Nice.
And yeah, accomplished. Accomplished woman. Very fucking accomplished. When she... Oh, sorry. Can't words. She focused much of her career on various physical and psychological disorders. So she worked with a range of clients, including people with anxiety, depression, sexually exploited teenagers, juvenile sex offenders, children with trauma, court-mandated adults, divorce, sexual identity issues, chronic pain, sex addiction, bipolar people, displaced adolescents, and domestic violence people. I don't know if she worked with the abusers or the abusees,
Sounds
the
like
victims.
Either way, it was really
Heavy.
mentally taxing. Yeah.
Probably, I'm sure. But it said that she loved her work and what she did.
That's good.
So really cool. She also counseled teenagers who were victims of sex trafficking, which is really niche, but a very necessary discipline, if you will.
Yeah, very depressing too. But someone has to help them.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, that's why I think it's really cool that she did that. That, because I don't know, definitely, I think people have told me I should be a therapist before. I get that all the time, actually, that that's what I should have done. But I think that would be even too mentally taxing for me.
I don't disagree.
As much stuff as I can take on from other people's bullshit, I think that, and I know when you're a therapist, you learn how to separate your life. I've had conversations with my therapist about this because we've, had the conversation about my future and what I'm doing. And that's what she's always like, I don't understand how you didn't go into this. Just given everything you've said to me, I don't understand why you didn't pursue this because you said it's been something of interest to you. She's like, but I've learned through my studies, how to separate myself from my work. And that's the same thing cops have to do.
Compartmentalizing.
Yeah, exactly. But she had to take courses on how to compartmentalize it, which is really interesting to me.
I gotcha.
So I guess Amie must have been really good at that. So she worked for both private practices and community-based mental facilities. And Dr. Hernando Chavez, a marriage counselor and sex therapist in Los Angeles. What?
I just made a slurpy sucky sound.
You did? Who was a colleague and friend of Amy's, said, Dr. Harwick and I had numerous mutual clients, and we referred clients to each other. Clients have reported back that she was compassionate, supportive, and trusted. She was respected in our field.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because you would have to really trust somebody in order to open up when you've been
right, and given her niche situation. About sexual exploitation and just all around revolving that vulnerability of sex.
Right,
yeah,
exactly. Because
you'd have to be trusted.
Said sex therapist, I was thinking in Meet the Parents or whatever, that movie where, is it Barbara Streisand?
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
But the mom is a sex therapist, but she coaches people through sex.
Yeah.
Not trauma.
Right. Not trauma related to it.
Right.
Just how to have good sex. So she was the recipient of the Phillips Graduate Institute Stipend Award for her multicultural knowledge and awareness regarding displaced children. And she was also a member of the ASECT, the American Association of Sexuality Educators, Counselors, and Therapists. CAMFT, we'll go with that. So I'm trying to pronounce that. The California Association of Marriage and Family Therapists, Psy-Chi, the Psychology Honor Society, the Pepperdine chapter.
Pepperdine's prestigious.
Pepperdine's very prestigious.
Yeah.
And CAP, which is Kink Awareness Professionals. And this was through the National Coalition for Sexual Freedom. And she wrote a book called The New Sex Bible for Women, which was published in 2014. And excerpts of the book were featured in Playboy, Elite Daily, and other niche magazines like that. Probably Women's Health, I would also assume, probably had excerpts from it. And
Maxim.
Yeah. Yeah. So really cool. And besides all of her educational credentials and professional credentials, truly professional credentials. She was insanely talented. She was insanely talented as a creator. She modeled for 2 brands called Stop Starting Clothing and the other one called Coffin Case. And she created
2 brands?
Yeah, 2 clothing brands.
Okay, because it sounded like you said 2 grands.
2 brands.
Okay.
With a B, brands.
Not grands like the biscuits.
I was thinking grand's like the fortune when you said that. Like, oh, my brain went to money and yours went to biscuits.
Well, therein lies the problem.
She created podcasts. She wrote articles for magazines, and she was a guest on what?
Sorry. I
was like looked over at you
and I went to biscuits.
And I look over at you and your tongue is full out of your mouth like a dog. And you're just rubbing your fucking lollipop back and forth.
I'm trying not to make noise. So that's the best way to not make noise and still enjoy my delicious Tootsie Pop.
Are you counting how many licks it takes you to get to the center?
God, no.
So, like I said, she created podcasts, wrote articles for magazines, and she was a guest on many TV shows where, like, she'd be interviewed about her work, right? Like, as it brought in as, like, experts on topics and such.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought you would appreciate this. In 2016, she was on Braxton Family Values.
I might have seen her then.
Yeah, that was, like, your favorite show ever.
It's not.
Not ever, but, like, one of your favorite shows.
It's in reality shows, yeah.
Yeah, definitely in your top 5.
Yeah.
Probably your top 2. 3.
No.
Behind The Challenge and Survivor.
Probably above Survivor. Behind The Challenge.
Above Survivor?
Also behind Mob Wives.
Oh, yeah, Mob Wives. I forgot about
Survivor
Mob Wives.
in forever. Like, we were hooked on it, but then it's like...
It got weird with the social media stuff during
season
COVID.
76. You can only watch so many fucking episodes. Like...
Season 46, which we are currently watching.
Well, whatever.
But we've only watched like the first 2 episodes of. So she also starred in a 2020 film that was called Midnight, where she played a doctor. And the description reads, a catatonic serial killer is put under deep wow, can't read this. I'm so sorry. Let me scroll in a little on my computer. Okay, a catatonic serial killer is put under a deep hypnosis in order to free his lost victim and revive him into coming to terms with the sadistic sexual acts he is responsible for. An amnesiac detective searching for a serial killer finds out he is the prime suspect. Under psychiatrists and there's no word that says under there. Criminal psychiatrists and psychologists watch and listen to the mysteries unfold, which I just thought was like interesting given her line of work that she like starred in this movie. And since she's a murder victim, it's like just kind of interesting.
It is, although it doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't sound like my favorite kind of movie.
No.
She was also in the 2007 film called The Devil's Muse, which was about the Black Dahlia.
Mm-hmm.
And she also starred in an episode of a show called Blabberbox in 2011. Yeah.
Never heard of it, but...
I haven't either, but cool. Good for her.
Yeah.
So she was also...
She's got a lot going on.
She has a lot happening in her life.
Yeah.
She was also a personal trainer and had an exercise video.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Very accomplished woman.
Yeah, I feel lazy.
I do too. I was reading all this. I was like, how do I become Amie? How do I
Without the getting murdered part?
Yeah, preferably. That would be the goal. That'd be the goal. But it wasn't her fault. It never is anybody's fault.
I'm like, well, when is it your fault that you
But I'm going to get into it. Like, it's pretty sad, obviously.
Yeah. I'm like,
okay, anyway. So she had a cat named Marquise de Chat.
Aw.
And she loved horror movies, and she had a morbid curiosity collection, if you will, like taxidermied animals and things in formaldehyde jars.
Gross.
Yeah. So definitely a morbid things.
Icky.
Yeah, morbid fascinations, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
She was described as quirky and fun and had a passion for photography because she was a model, as we discussed.
Mm-hmm.
And then she also started enjoying being behind the camera. And so just a little bit more about like her dating history after her divorce. From 2008 to 2009, she dated Dave Navarro from the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Ink Masters. But this was a very short-lived relationship.
Well, obviously.
And then in 2009, she started dating Gareth Perthouse, who was in his early 40s and was a photographer, a wannabe comedian, and a software engineer. They broke up in 2011, and her friend Rudy Torres said that he didn't take this well. And this is a quote from Rudy. He'd do stupid stuff and say stupid stuff. You'd tell him, move on, dude, leave her alone. And he wouldn't. And she would report that he was abusive. She filed a restraining order against him in 2011, but it was dismissed because of the lack of prosecution. And in this report, she said, and this is a quote, Gareth Pursehouse forced me to the ground, covered my mouth to prevent me from yelling, kicked me. In mid-May, there were multiple arguments in which Gareth Pursehouse choked me, suffocated me, pushed me against walls, kicked me, dropped me to the ground with forced force, restrained me, slammed my head into the ground, and punched me with a closed fist.
Jeez.
And
He
like
sounds
I
like
said,
a real
it was
great guy.
dismissed. And then she filed again in April 2012, and this time it was granted, the restraining order.
Good, although we all know that doesn't always
hold up.
Yeah.
So in interviews with her mom, Penny said that Amie didn't share many details about the relationship, and this was probably to shield her family from, the abuse that was going on and, like, protected them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she just said that, like, Amie just didn't really share a lot regarding this relationship.
Well, just so you know, if that ever happens to you, you better share with me because I'll go snap somebody's fucking neck.
Good call.
Okay.
I will absolutely share with you.
Okay.
So then in 2016, jeez, Daphne. In 2016, she believes that he broke into her home. Somebody broke into her home in 2016. She thinks it was him.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember I said he was a software engineer, a computer guy? Her computer was completely wiped clean. And there were also stolen photo albums.
Fuck.
Yeah. But
Creepy.
So she had the restraining order, right, though?
Yeah. Oh, clearly it worked.
Clearly. But he wasn't fucking with her anymore. Just breaking into her house.
I think that's still fucking with you.
So then she began dating the comedian and Price is Right host, Drew Carey, in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And they met at a party that summer. And the two had their first date in Disneyland, which is just like goals.
Aw.
I want my first date somewhere to be in Disneyland, or with someone to be in Disneyland. That'd be cool. Be somewhere in Disneyland. Just be in Disneyland. So the two got engaged on New Year's in 2018 when he took her to Paris. But they called it off in October of that year. And it was a very amicable breakup. I guess she was the one who broke up with him, though, because she was afraid that, like, her being, like, in the limelight, dating a celebrity, right? Being with someone that's,
well known.
Yeah.
And she has her, not private practice, but.
No. Nothing to have to do with her profession.
Oh, okay.
That she was afraid that being in the public eye would catch the attention of Gareth. That's what she was afraid of. But I guess she was, like, totally devastated because he said that she was the love of his life. And she also said the same about him. Yeah. And that it was, like, so well and great and amazing. And they had, like, a really great relationship.
That sucks.
So at one point, Amie had lost a job as a youth counselor because someone anonymously sent her boss nude photos of her. And our guess would be that it would be Gareth, right?
Right.
But we don't really know. So she had a roommate at her Hollywood Hills home. His name was Michael Herman. And I'm not sure what the nature, like, of their relationship totally was. It just kind of seemed like roommate relationship, like cordial, friendly, whatever situation. So on January, we're fast forwarding, January 16th, 2020, she got a last minute invite to the annual XBiz Awards, which is a gala for people in the adult film industry, an award show. And she's, like, walking the red carpet, right? Like, she got invited to this big event, like, as a guest, not as a worker, as a guest. And she spotted her ex, Gareth Pursehouse, working the event, being a photographer. And she tried to avoid him, but then he spotted her. And then he went ballistic, yelling at her, saying, "You ruined my life." And this is a good quote from her friend, Robert Koshland, who she told the whole thing to. Like, she, like, recounted her experience. He said, this is what she said. There's like 100 people in this room and he's screaming. He is working the event. He's a big guy and he's screaming at her, sobbing, falls to the ground in fetal position, wailing. And then after the show, Amie spent 45 minutes speaking privately with him, away from everyone, but, still, like, within the view of the security guards, still, like, trying to be safe. And she told me she went into therapist mode and tell him, like, he needs to, like, get on with his life. But in a non-confrontational way, as best as possible, she felt like she had talked him down. So that's all from Robert Koshland, recounting the events that Amie said had happened.
That's so ridiculous and scary. And
yeah, ridiculous that he can't just move on with his life. So the next day, he found her phone number online and he started texting her a lot. And then he left her voicemail, basically. I heard in the 48 Hours episode that I watched about this, they had the voicemail on there. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, I need to talk to you. I just need to sort all of this out and talk to you. Just give me a chance to talk to you. And then after that, she blocked his number. It's like, good for her.
Yeah, good call.
So after this, though, is when she started telling her friends that if anything had happened to her, it was him. If anything was going to happen to her, it was going to be him. And she really tried to make her home secure, even like chatting to a handyman saying, I'm kind of concerned about these French doors that I have. Can we like make these more secure, please? And she got pepper spray and she called her parents to tell them that if she died, she wanted an open casket funeral and an elaborate headstone.
How sad.
So, like, she's nervous, obviously.
Yeah.
And
she's preparing for the worst.
Yeah. So at this point, obviously, too, the restraining order had, like, long expired. And because he hadn't expressly threatened her again, she didn't do anything about it because she didn't think going to the police would help with it. Mm-hmm. So she had told her friends, again, just reiterating, if something happens to me, it's Gareth. Mm-hmm. If anything happens to me, it was him. So here's a timeline of Amie's day leading up to the events that, like, make this all a murder case, why we're here discussing this, not just bad stalker weirdo-ness. Mm-hmm. On February 13th, 2020, she texts Drew Carey and says, in the spirit of friendship and forgiveness, she would love to get together and talk. And he said he would love to do that and that he loves her. And they agreed to meet after Valentine's Day. It was a weekend. Mm-hmm. And so they agreed to meet after the weekend. And on Valentine's Day of 2020, she went for a sunrise hike and then had breakfast with her friend Cleopatra Sloth. I think is how you say her last name. And then at the Beechwood Club. Then in the evening, she went to her friend's like show at the Globe Theater with her other friends. Her friend, Miss Koch, was performing in her own like she was presenting this burlesque show. Mm-hmm. So she went to that with her friends. And an important note in all the pictures this evening, she's wearing rosary bead necklaces. Mm. So while she was at this event, her roommate was woken up by what he believed was a plate smashing on the floor above him. But he assumed it was Amie. He just went back to bed. He'd like heard some glass break and was like, whatever, going back to bed. And then at midnight, she and her friends went out to Nomad for tea. And this was until about after midnight. So according to police and like timelines that they put together, she pulled into her driveway about 1-ish and she texted her friend at 1:02 to send her pictures from Nomad. She's like, hey, please send me those pictures from tonight. Mm-hmm. And then she went into her house. And then this is when she was attacked by someone who was waiting there for her for hours. At 1:08, her roommate, Michael, was like screaming and frantic because he could hear her screaming. Mm-hmm. And he couldn't find his phone or his keys. And so he's yelling upstairs to try and like scare off, like screaming up the stairs, whoever's up there, you know, trying to stop this. Mm-hmm. And then he ran outside. He scaled their fence to go get, because he couldn't find his keys, right? To like open this fence. And so, and this is a giant, like, wrought iron fence. So he is knocking on neighbors' doors, and there's, like, footage of all of this. Nobody's answering. And then he goes across the street. Nobody answers again. And then he saw somebody on the street with a phone, like, walking. Mm-hmm. And so he flagged them and was like, called 911, you know, I need you to call 911. I don't know where my phone is. Well, I can't, you know. I need you to call 911. Mm-hmm. And this was at 1:11 on February 15th. And at this point, you know, it's all just fucking chaos. And so, and it's chaos for him because he's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I also like don't have my shit together because I just got woken up by all this.
Right.
So I watched the episode of Killer Cases about this, and they have the 911 call in this. And it was really disappointing to like hear the 911 call because so basically the 911 call went like this. He's on this guy's phone, right? And he's like, I hear screaming. I didn't see my roommate being attacked, but she's being attacked. I heard screaming. Like, I didn't hear stop, don't, none of that. Just screaming, just frantic yelling, screaming. Mm-hmm. And I heard her get thrown, though, too. That's important. He said he hears a body slam. Mm-hmm. And the 911 dispatcher was like, well, I'm not going to say you saw anything. We're just going to say you heard it. So you don't actually know for sure if she's being attacked, but we'll send someone. And he's like, no, she's for sure being attacked. Like, you need to send someone. You need to say, no, she's for sure being attacked. No, I didn't witness it, but I can hear it. you need to send someone like now.
Mm-hmm.
So when the police arrive like 10 minutes later, they, get into the backyard, which is fenced off. So they're scaling the fences too. And they're like, dude, where are your keys at? And he's like, I don't know where they are at. I also don't know where my phone is at. And they find Amie's body laying about 20 feet from her bedroom balcony, which she's still alive, but she's unconscious. Mm-hmm. And she's also having seizures. So the cops called for an ambulance. And the police are pleading with Michael Herman. And he's like, dudes, I don't know what happened. I woke up and this is what I hear. And so he's obviously like in all the body cam footage in like a totally panicked state. Mm-hmm. And at this point, like they think he's involved. And his shirt also has blood on it. Which there's never really a clear explanation for why his shirt has blood on it. But spoiler alert, he wasn't involved at all. He was just like totally a witness and panicked. And this had just happened to his roommate. And he was in a dead sleep when all this is happening. So when the police are searching the house, they try and find anything they can, right? But everything looks normal, clean. Like she's a very tidy person. Everything's put together. Except when they get to her actual bedroom and her bed, it looks like somebody had like just like suddenly gotten out of her bed. And the sheets are like moved, And then either in or near her bedroom, there was a pool of urine, which indicates that she was strangled and then like her body like lost control. Mm-hmm. And also on the balcony outside of her bedroom, there was a syringe that was loaded with a yellow-brown substance. And this was like dropped on the balcony. And the police thought it was drugs and that like she was doing drugs. Mm-hmm. And there was also a trail of Amie's rosary beads that were like broken off that led like the snatched necklace, led from her TV room through her bedroom onto her balcony. And the point of entry was some broken glass in a window on those French doors where there was also blood evidence.
That's so scary.
It's so scary, right?
Mm-hmm. And sad. It's really sad.
It's really sad. It's really fucking sad and scary, that he was just there waiting for her. Mm-hmm. So Amie was rushed to the Cedars-Sinai Medical...
Cedars-Sinai.
Sure, Sinai. Mm-hmm. Okay, Cedars-Sinai Medical Center Hospital, where she had very severe injuries, obviously, deep marks on her neck, indicating that she had been strangled, and she was pronounced dead at 3:26 a.m.
God, that's so fucking sad.
It's horrible. Yeah, this one was like rocked me a little bit. I was like, this is horrible.
Yeah. It's rocking me. It's like, yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like any of them, but
some of them are just like...
This is really sad.
Harder than others. And that sounds fucked up to say, but this is obviously like, I mean, we all know where this is leading to. I just talked about the abusive ex-boyfriend.
Right.
So police were pressing Michael, still the roommate.
I think that's maybe why it seems so really horrible, is because it's somebody you know. And it's somebody at one point you trusted. Yeah. That would be capable of doing this to you. Yeah. I think that's why it makes it that much sadder.
Right.
Because, I mean, when a stranger kills you, it's obviously still sad and sucks. But like when somebody that you loved and that loved you and cared about you kills you.
Right.
That's like an extra level of...
Right. And somebody who's like trying to do everything they can to like be with you. And it's like, I just want to talk to you. Mm-hmm. Just let me love you.
Yeah.
But I'm going to kill you.
Right. And she didn't sound like she was like mean. Like she was just like, dude, like...
Right, she's a therapist. She knows how to handle these situations.
Right. And this isn't good for either one of us. Obviously, if you're being abusive, that's not good for you. And you're abusing me, that's not good for me. So we need to not be together.
Yeah.
Ugh, so sad.
So their police are pressing Michael, right, about the syringe. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, she's sober. Mm-hmm. This is definitely out of place. It's not heroin. And the police immediately knew it wasn't heroin, too.
That's
they didn't
what
know what
it was.
It
was heroin.
No, they knew it wasn't heroin. But they were like, they also don't know what it is. And then they're like, was she on drugs? Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, she was sober. And she would go out and get tea. Mm-hmm. She's sober.
Right.
And so police obviously were like, okay, this is a murder. So they got busy on the investigation. And when the police were asking neighbors for security footage, this is also how they got the footage of Michael being frantic. They found some pretty fucking crazy shit in the footage. So they see this male hopping fences and running through neighbors' yards, and he's wearing gloves and a jacket. He eventually takes his hands with the gloves still on and covers each camera for about 10 seconds, which stops motion activation, which I didn't know. And the timestamps of this was all from about 8:50 p.m. on Valentine's Day.
Wow.
So, like, just after she left.
Right.
which also then shows this man fleeing, like, right after Amie's thrown from the balcony.
Jeez.
So then, they're talking. They're looking into her ex-boyfriend.
So she was thrown from the balcony?
She was thrown from her balcony.
Okay, because I thought you said she was like 20 feet from her balcony.
No, I'm sorry. On the ground, like under.
Oh, 20 feet.
Under.
Off the balcony.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like in the hallway, 20 feet from her balcony.
No. I'm sorry. Yeah, she was thrown from her balcony. And she was in the backyard.
Ugh.
Yeah. So Robert Koshland, the one who I was talking about earlier, her friend, like this is like her best friend in the world. He was brought in for questioning, and he told detectives about the run-in about a month prior with Gareth, and about how Amie had said that, Gareth was very abusive during their relationship, and Amie had filed several domestic violence complaints against Gareth, tried to obtain a restraining order once, got granted the second time, but this was a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the complaints included allegations that he had choked her, suffocated her, pushed her against walls, slammed her head into the ground. And he also was like, Amie thinks that he broke into her house in 2016 and that, he stole the photos, wiped the computer clean. And this was 4 years after their breakup.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly this guy's dangerous. Maybe we should look into this guy. Right. Come on, police.
And he's not getting over it.
The worst part of all. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not moving on.
So after this, Robert reached out to Drew Carey and told him the sad news about Amie. And he said he couldn't even stand. He was so devastated, physically, move. Couldn't even get up. He's so devastated.
So sad.
Yeah, it's really fucking sad. So then 13 hours after Amie died, detectives showed up at Gareth's home and arrested him, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, he was like, no, I was at home. I was here. I was at home. I wasn't doing anything last night.
Right.
And he also had a bite mark on his bicep.
Good.
And he had a fresh black eye, which he tried to fucking explain away DIY home reno projects that he was working on. And it's funny because the police detectives in either the 48 Hours or the Killer Case episode, I don't remember which one, the detectives were like, I guess they told him, in that moment when he was like, oh no, it happened because of that. They were like, well, you probably should hire a contractor then, because I can't imagine if you got with power tools. So it's kind of funny. So inside his home, police said that they found a syringe similar to the one that they'd recovered on Amie's balcony.
Mm-hmm.
And this syringe was filled with nicotine, pure nicotine, which can be used to poison someone. And this is how we planned on killing her.
Yeah, I was going to say that would kill you, yeah.
Yeah. So it's very rare, but there was another case that they covered on 48 Hours. That was the case of Paul Curry, who was found guilty in 1994 of poisoning his wife, Linda, with the nicotine.
Mm-hmm.
So it's rare, but it happens, right? People do it.
How do you get a hold of straight nicotine?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
I didn't look into that. So he was charged, but I did say that if you were to poison somebody with straight nicotine and they just died, that wouldn't be something that somebody would detect, that they would be looking for in your system that would kill you.
Right.
That wouldn't be necessarily flagged as the cause of death.
Right. I gotcha.
So it'd be a way to get away with it, I suppose. So he was charged with Amie's murder on February 19th, and her funeral was held back home in Lansdale on February 27, 2020, and her family asked that in lieu of sending flowers to the service, they asked for contributions to be made in Amie's memory to the Rock of Recovery, which is an organization that brings the healing power of music to people in treatment for addiction, trauma, and mental health concerns, which is really sweet.
That is really nice.
So 2 months after his arrest, he pled not guilty, of course.
Of course.
Then at his preliminary hearing in 2021, his lawyers got busy, of course, trying to convince the judge that there was no case and that her falling from the balcony was an accident and, she could have done it herself and that it was an accident. And, they showed, in the trial later, pictures of her sitting on her balcony, on her ledge. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, she was so comfortable with it. She probably just fell, was basically the defense.
Okay.
And then after 6 days of
She fell, but with her rosary beads broken all over the place, choked.
Right, with urine on the ground.
Right.
And all this whole mess.
Yeah.
So after 6 days of the preliminary hearing, the judge was like, no, there's evidence that there's foul play, so we're definitely going to go to trial. Mm-hmm. Do you want a jury or not?
You pick.
Yeah, you pick. Do you want a jury or do you not want a jury?
Right. Jury or just judge.
So her friends testified about her fear of Gareth, and Robert even hacked into her email, and he found an email that she wrote, which has been proven that she's the one that wrote it, like through the forensics, whatever.
IP
that
address
they do.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like nobody fabricated that she wrote this. It was her actual, she wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
And they also read this in the closing argument trials too. But Robert found the email. Anyway, it documented the night that she ran into him at the XBiz Awards. And it said, this is what the email said. This is a quote.
Wasn't that the same night? Or no, it wasn't.
That was a month earlier.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, because he got in and killed her he was in her house on Valentine's Day and then killed her on the 15th. Yeah. He started screaming, "You shouldn't be here. Why are you here?" He was sobbing. He was distorting his face and shaking violently. It terrifies me that he's been obsessed with me for 9 years. He's malicious, highly intelligent, and focused on harming me. Yeah.
That's so scary.
Yeah. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so sad. It's so scary that, like you said, that someone that you know and trust could be the person that does this to you.
Mm-hmm.
But we see this time and time again.
I know.
Which is, I guess, what makes it maybe harder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Or not. I don't know. They're all hard, but some of them have their different levels of just like, ugh.
Yeah.
So Amy's close friend Grace Stanley also testified that Gareth Perthhouse was hearing about the text and that she had from Amie and, she read the text that Amie had sent her at the trial, at the hearing, and was she's terrified of Gareth. These texts are all about him. He sucks. He's scary.
Right.
And the version of events that the prosecution put together was that she walked into her bedroom and she got to the foot of her bed and realized that somebody was in her bed.
Ugh.
And she threw her phone at him and turns and runs to escape. And then he chases after her. He grabs her neck. He breaks her necklaces as he's pursuing her, and grabbing her. And this is what left the trail of beads. And then he grabs her wrist and she's wearing a leather jacket. And then he tears the leather jacket off of her, which one sleeve is the right way and the other sleeve is inside out. Mm-hmm. Which if you know anything about a leather jacket, you don't turn your sleeves inside out to take it off like you would a hoodie where you can just fucking whatever, take it off.
Right.
Your leather jacket, you put it on cleanly, you take it off cleanly.
Right.
You don't want to fucking ruin it.
For sure.
So this obviously shows that there was a struggle happening. And then they also said that they believe that he began choking her, strangling her. Sorry, not stroking her. Choking her, strangling her until she became unconscious. And then when he hears Michael yelling up the stairs to stop, that's when he throws her over the balcony and he drops the nicotine vial. That scared him.
And this all happened so quickly because, like you said, she texted her friend at 1:08, right?
1:02, and this is all happening at 1:08. Yeah.
Right, and he's running and calling for 911 at 1:15 or 1:11?
He gets on the phone with 911 at 1:11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quick.
It's really quick. And his version of events is that he said running into Amie at that event sent him into a debilitating depression and he needed to talk to her, and that the nicotine vial was about him killing himself in front of her.
Sure.
Yeah, right. So then in 2022, we're still in trial at this point.
So we're getting to the point that he was there.
Yeah.
Where he's like, oh, well, I was going to kill myself. That's why I was there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he said.
Yeah. Even though I was choking her.
Right. Well, and in his trial, too, his defense team, alongside the pictures of her sitting on the balcony, they also had a mock-up demonstration video thing of her falling from being sitting up there.
Of course.
Which is so stupid. And that it would kill her like that with choke marks around her neck. Yeah, make it make sense.
And her necklace sprawled out throughout her house.
Yeah, it make fucking sense.
Right.
So in 2022, Amy's parents said, and this is all while we're still in trial, just in the timeline, this is where this fits in because it's in 2022.
Okay.
As we approach the 2-year anniversary of Amy's death, we remain thankful for the unwavering support of our extended family and friends. Many of Amy's close friends communicate with us regularly, attend court hearings, and update us on the proceedings. We are very grateful. Our hope is that 2022 will bring justice for Amie and focus on her life, her work, and her accomplishments. So sad.
So sad.
Then on September 28th, 2023, the jury deliberated for 2 days, which is scary.
I was going to say that's not good.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's better when it's 15 minutes.
But they had 3 options. They had first-degree murder, second-degree murder, or voluntary manslaughter.
Mm-hmm. And first-degree murder is premeditated.
Yes.
Which it seems like it was. Or at least second-degree, because he went over there. Maybe he wasn't actually going to kill her, but
that's what happened.
He was going to fuck her up.
Yeah.
And then he ended up killing her. I don't know.
Horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So they convicted him, though, first-degree murder.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah, we got the result we wanted.
Yeah.
Although after 2 days sketch, but still. We got it.
That's frightening.
Like, what are you talking about in there?
Right.
It's very clear cut and dry.
Well, maybe they're just trying to decide whether he planned on doing it or whether it just got out of control.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe. I mean, I could see it going both ways. But I think his intent was definitely to kill her. Just how it went down, I think, was maybe not how it was planned.
Right.
Or even that night that he hadn't maybe planned on killing her and just spooking her.
Right.
But I think regardless, some point he probably would have gotten to her if it wasn't that night, because that's how these people operate.
He was intent.
Yeah.
He was real intent on hurting her. And yeah, he obviously wasn't going there to kill himself.
Yeah.
Stupid.
They also found a true circumstance allegation of murder while lying in wait.
Good.
Yep. And he was also found guilty of first-degree burglary when he broke into her house in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And then on December 6th, 2023, he was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole. So happy about that outcome.
Yeah, except for,
he killed her.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that he has to spend the rest of his life rotting away in jail.
Well, and I was going to say 2023, so he has 8 years of appeals to happen?
Yeah, but he's not getting out.
No, but
nothing's going to happen for him. The evidence is there that whether they move it from first to second or whatever, but.
Right, but you know how they always do a technicality and his civil rights were violated and blah, blah, blah. Not even about the crime, but about the conviction.
There was also a report of him, which I didn't write in my notes, but I'll just tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I always do that. I'm like, I didn't write it down, but I'll just share it with you.
But I know it, so I'll just say it.
That he had a phone call with his friends a few weeks after he was arrested, but before his arraignment.
Mm-hmm.
That he was like, yeah, it's not looking good for me, guys. Yeah. So fucked.
Sorry. No one can see me rolling my eyes.
No one can see you rolling your eyes except for me.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear marbles happening. So then on December 6th, 2023, he was sentenced to life in prison, right? So that's good.
Yeah.
We're at least at a good point right now with him. It's funny. His pictures, from before all of this, before he was in prison. But he was an attractive looking dude, and then
he wasn't.
Then jail ruined him. Prison ruined him.
I think killing her ruined him.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
All of it. Then her friend, or I don't know, colleague, I guess maybe, Dr. Ava Cadell, a Los Angeles sexologist who mentored Amie. She said that she mentored her through her doctoral dissertation. I'm sorry. I just got my words jumbled up right there.
That's okay.
This is what she said about her. She said, she really did have it all, including star power, and she was a fantastic speaker. I thought she would have her own TV show. She would have loved that. My heart is breaking from the terrible news that she was attacked and murdered an hour after Valentine's Day. Her only weakness was choosing unhealthy relationships with men.
That sucks.
It's so sad.
And I don't know, I'm going back to the part 2 where she didn't want to be with Drew Carey because she was worried about being in the public eye.
Because of him.
But then she's still in the public eye because she's on the red carpet at that thing. And then if she was maybe going to get her own TV show, if that was something that maybe had come up for her.
Yeah, well, and she was still a guest star on shows.
I was going to say, and she's going on television and stuff, so...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that was just a little different about being on the arm of a celebrity versus being famous in your own right.
Yeah.
Maybe that.
I don't know. I just wonder if she would have married him if none of this would have happened. But I guess we don't know.
We will never know, unfortunately, but we can only hope that he moves on.
Yeah.
And that he can find the love of his life. He's great. I love Drew Carey. He's always so funny. He's funny. A great personality, at least on screen. This is what he said about her. Amie and I had a love that people are lucky to have once in a lifetime. She was a positive force in the world, a tireless and unapologetic champion for women, passionate about her work as a therapist. I am overcome with grief. I would like to thank you in advance for giving myself and everyone who loved Amie privacy while we worked through this tragic situation. Yeah.
Sad, give me chills.
Yeah, me too. It's so sad. We're both all teary-eyed.
I know, right? Gosh, dang it.
And I have just a little bit more here. Amie, so she really loved her family. She was really tight with her family. Her favorite visit of like that she made every year happen, was the annual CBD, the cookie baking day.
I like
with her family, where she'd get to see all of her cousins, her aunts, her parents, her brother, nieces, nephews. And of course, they included, she's from Pennsylvania, so like they had to have their cheesesteaks and their pork rolls and her Lebanon bologna. Her family would always get for her.
Okay.
And this is directly from her memorial page, which is really cool. I feel like everybody should check it out.
Put a link.
I will. When she wasn't working on her own projects and career, Amie was obsessed with helping other women with their ambitions. She started and ran an online networking group called Foxy Feminists that helped women in Los Angeles connect with each other for job opportunities, inspiration, and support. Amie championed every woman at every opportunity and was a positive force for change and improvement in the lives of everyone who she knew.
She sounds like a great person.
I know, I would have loved her.
Right.
That's what I feel like. It's so sad. Like, they're all just really sad, but there's some of them that have just been hard, like the Lisa Williams. I was like, I would have loved to have been her friend.
Yeah, the people that everybody loves and that are just getting out there and doing it. And
yeah, just conquering.
Helping other people.
That they're inspirations.
Yeah, exactly. Inspirations to other people and motivating to other people. And it's so sad.
It's so freaking sad.
Stupid
Gareth Pursehouse.
All right. Well, thank you, Daph.
Yeah.
For that uplifting and joyful case.
Yeah, they all are, aren't they?
Yeah. Yes.
They're all uplifting and joyful.
Yeah.
Or not.
Right.
But it's my morbid fascinations. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I need to figure out how to put it into words how I feel. And that I just feel like, I think you described it perfectly, that when somebody who you trust could do this to you or trusted at one point, which obviously it didn't work out for a reason, leave her alone.
Right.
PSA, don't obsess over your exes. Just move on.
Yeah. If you love somebody,
let them go.
Let them go. If you're supposed to let them go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no shit on a Sunday.
Yep. There you go.
All right. Well, that's all I got. You can follow us on Instagram at That's Disturbing Podcast. And you can also...
Tappity tap.
You can... that is me, huh?
Uh-huh.
You can also send us a Gmail, That's disturbingpodcast@gmail.com, because you can send us a case request on whatever the heck you want. And we'll do it. And we'll report back with our case.
Yeah, we do have another case request in there.
We have another case request.
We do.
Oh, from Lindsay.
Yeah. Different Lindsay. My
best friend Lindsay.
Yeah.
Who, actually, I knew that because she sent it to me on TikTok too and said, I'm case requesting this. And I said, well, you better do it the right way. Yeah, she sent me it on TikTok. So I know a little bit about what's happening. But oh man, it's crazy.
I haven't even looked at it because I'm in my own depths of other cases.
Yeah. Well, I'll get it rolling.
Okay.
I'll get it crank. All right, that's all I got. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Daph.
Yeah, no worries. Bye-bye.